enjoyers of this web series. If you have not been a part of this, this is I'll Read That, where your stories get read. So, if you don't understand the premise, you submit a story and I read it out loud. These are all cold reads. So I give a voice to your characters as well as give you an opportunity to hear it from the perspective of your audience. So if you have a story to read, please submit it and I would be more than happy to read that. So this is I'll Read That, and we are currently in the process of reading my book, Toby. If you haven't had a chance to already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And, your engagement really helps this channel out to get more people involved and part of this community. So, let us continue with Chapter 3, A Dangerous Encounter. Toby had been living with Lily and her mother and father for nearly a week now, and every day felt like a new adventure. The little yellow house was beginning to feel like a real home, a place where he felt safe and cared for. Each morning, Lily would come outside and greet him with a treat or a playful pat, and Toby would leap into her arms, his tail wagging furiously. But today was different. Lily had gone to school early, leaving Toby alone in the garden. The house felt quieter than usual, and Toby wandered around, sniffing the flowers and chasing butterflies. The sun was warm, the air was sweet with the scent of blooming jasmine, but something was missing. Without Lily, everything felt less exciting. Toby let out a small whimper and padded over to the front gate. It was a tall wooden gate, usually shut tight, but today it was slightly ajar. Toby's ears perked up, and his nose twitched with curiosity. He nudged the gate open with his nose and peeked through, seeing the busy street beyond. People walked by, children rode their bicycles, and cars zoomed past. The world outside was bustling, filled with noises and smells that Toby had never experienced before. He hesitated for a moment, glancing back toward the house, but the lure of the unknown was too strong. Maybe, if he explored a bit, he could find something fun to show Lily when she came back. With a mix of excitement and caution, Toby squeezed through the opening in the gate and stepped onto the sidewalk. The noise of the street was overwhelming at first, but he quickly adjusted, his tail wagging as he sniffed around. He darted from tree to tree, pausing to smell each new scent, feeling a sense of freedom he hadn't known before. He wandered down the street, lost in a swirl of new sensations, when he heard a low, menacing growl. Toby froze, his ears twitching. He turned his head and saw a large dog standing in the middle of the sidewalk, staring at him with narrowed eyes. The dog was huge, much bigger than Toby, with a shaggy fur and a scar over one eye. His lips curled back in a snarl, revealing sharp, yellow teeth dripping with saliva. Toby's heart started to race. He had seen bigger dogs before, but there was something different about this one. Its eyes were cold and its posture was aggressive. Toby took a cautious step back, but the big dog growled louder and moved closer, his eyes never leaving Toby. Toby's instincts screamed at him to run, but his legs felt like they were stuck in place. He could feel his small body trembling with fear. Without warning, the big dog lunged at him, barking loudly. Toby darted to the side just in time, narrowly avoiding the dog's snapping jaws. Panic surged through him and he bolted down the street, his little legs pumping as fast as they could. The larger dog gave chase, with his heavy paws pounding against the pavement. Toby zigzagged between parked cars and dashed through narrow alleys, his breath coming in ragged gasps. The big dog was relentless, barking furiously as he pursued Toby through the neighborhood. Toby's lungs burned and his legs ached, but he didn't dare slow down. He could hear the dog's growls growing louder, closer. His mind raced, looking for a way out, a place to hide. Suddenly, he spotted an opening in a wooden fence up ahead, a small gap just big enough for him to squeeze through. Without hesitating, Toby darted toward the gap and slipped through, scraping his sides against the rough wood. He landed in someone's backyard, panting heavily, his heart pounding in his chest. The larger dog skidded to a stop just outside the fence, barking furiously and clawing at the gap, trying to push his way through. Toby crouched low, his ears flat against his head, his body trembling with fear. But the gap was too small for the big dog to fit through. After a few moments of futile struggle, the dog growled one last time and finally turned away, stalking back down the street. Toby waited, his ears strained to hear the sound of the dog moving further away. Only when he was sure it was gone did he dare to move. He was safe for now, but his heart was still racing and he felt a deep sense of regret. He had only wanted a little adventure, something to fill the time until Lily came back, but now he was lost and far from home. with no idea how to get back. He whimpered softly, feeling more alone than he had in days. He missed Lily's comforting voice, her warm hands, and the feeling of safety he felt in her arms. He curled up behind a small shed in the corner of the backyard, hiding in the shadows, trying to calm his racing heart. The day began like any other, with the sun streaming through the blinds and casting a warm glow across Lily's room. But today felt different. There was a flutter of excitement in her chest as she woke up. For weeks she had been saving up her allowance and the money she earned from doing odd jobs around the neighborhood, unsure what she would spend it on. She had considered buying a new book, a toy, or even some art supplies, but nothing had felt quite right. That all changed a week ago when she met Toby. From the moment she found him, scrappy and alone in the park, Lily knew she had to do something special for him. He wasn't just a stray puppy, he was her new friend, a companion who had brought an unexpected joy into her life. And now, after careful thought, she had decided that the perfect way to show her love for him was to buy him something meaningful, a beautiful, vibrant red collar. It was more than just an accessory, it was a symbol of the bond they had formed in such a short time. Lily slipped out of bed, her excitement growing with each passing minute. She got dressed quickly, stuffing the pouch with her saved money into her pocket, and headed downstairs. Her mother noticed the extra spring in her step and smiled. "Going somewhere special today?" her mother asked, handing her a small snack for the road. "Yes, I'm going to the pet store," Lily replied, her eyes bright with anticipation. "I've decided to buy something for Toby." Her mother raised an eyebrow, curious but supportive. "That sounds like a wonderful idea, Lily. Just don't be late for dinner, okay?" "I won't," Lily called back as she dashed out the door, eager to start her mission. The pet store was just a few blocks away, but Lily's steps were light and quick. Driven by her determination, she thought about Toby as she walked, imagining how the red collar would look against his scruffy black fur. How how it would how it would mark him as hers and hers as his. She could barely picture him prancing around the yard, his tail wagging with pride. When she arrived at the store, the familiar jingle of the bell greeted her as she stepped inside. Mrs. Thompson, the kind store owner, smiled warmly at Lily. "Back again, I see," Miss Thompson said, noticing the excitement in Lily's eyes. "What brings you here today?" "I'm here to buy a collar," Lily replied, pulling out her pouch and counting out the money she had worked so hard to save. "For Toby. I want him to have something special." Miss Thompson nodded, her expression softening. "That's very thoughtful of you, Lily. I think he'll love it." Lily carefully selected the red collar, holding it in her hands and running her fingers over the smooth leather. It was perfect, bright, sturdy, and just the right size for Toby. She paid for it with the money she had saved, feeling a swell of pride in her chest. This was more than just a purchase, it was a gift of love and care, a way to show Toby how much she meant to her. With the collar securely tucked away in her bag, Lily made her way back home, her heart full of happiness. She couldn't wait to show Toby, to see his reaction when she placed it around his neck. She imagined him bouncing around in excitement, his tail wagging furiously, his eyes full of trust and affection. But as she reached her front gate, her excitement turned to confusion. Pushing open the gate, Lily stepped into the yard, expecting to see Toby bounding toward her as he usually did. But the yard was strangely quiet. No playful barks, no rush of paws against the grass, nothing. She looked around, her brow furrowed. "Toby," she called out, her voice tentative and uncertain. She quickly scanned the yard, checking his favorite spots. Under the oak tree, near the bushes, by the flower bed. But there was no sign of him. A flutter of worry began to grow in her chest. She ran into the house, hoping he had somehow gotten inside. "Toby! Toby, where are you?" Lily moved from room to room, her eyes darting around, searching for any sign of him. She looked under the kitchen table, behind the couch, even in the laundry room, calling his name over and over. But there was only silence. Her heart pounded in her chest as she felt the beginning of panic rising. Then, as she dashed back toward the front door, something caught her eye. The gate was slightly ajar, swinging gently in the breeze. She felt her stomach twist. She hadn't left the gate open. It was always closed. She stood frozen for a moment, her mind racing, then the realization hit her. Toby was gone. Her hand, still clutching the red collar, trembled. The beautiful collar she had chosen with such care, imagining how it would look against Toby's scruffy black fur. Her grip loosened and the collar slipped from her fingers, falling to the floor with a soft thud. For a moment she could only stare at it, her mind whirling with fear and disbelief. The collar lay there, bright and red against the tile, a stark reminder of her missing friend. Without another thought, Lily darted back outside, her heart pounding. She had no idea which direction Toby might have gone, no clue where to begin searching, but she couldn't waste a second. She sprinted through the gate and onto the street, her eyes scanning everywhere. She called out, "Toby! Toby!" Her voice was loud and desperate, echoing off the houses and carrying down the quiet street. Lily's thoughts were frantic, filled with worry. She tried to imagine where Toby might have gone. The little puppy was so new to the neighborhood. He couldn't have known his way around. Did he wander off to explore? Did he get scared and run? Her heart ached at the thought of him, lost and alone, or worse, hurt. She raced to the park, her legs moving as fast as they could, the same park where she had found him a week ago. It felt like a safe place to start. Maybe he had gone back there, searching for her just like she was searching for him. As she reached the park entrance, she looked around frantically, her breath coming in quick, short bursts. Toby! She shouted again, the name tearing from her throat, hoarse and strained. Lily darted through the park, checking under the benches, looking behind the trees and peering into the bushes where he could have been hiding. Her voice was starting to give out, and her legs were trembling from the effort, but she refused to stop. Her love for Toby and the fear of losing him pushed her forward. The sun was setting, casting long, dark shadows across the park, and as the light began to fade, so did her hope. Lily stopped in the middle of the park, her chest heaving, and a wave of exhaustion washed over her. She felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes, but she quickly blinked them away. She couldn't afford to lose hope. She wouldn't. Somewhere, Toby was out there, waiting for her, and she promised herself she wouldn't stop until she brought him back home. After a while, Toby's fear began to give way to determination. He couldn't stay here forever. Lily was out there, looking for him. He could feel it. He had to find his way back. Slowly he got up and crept out from behind the shed. The street outside was still quiet, but he knew he had to be careful. Toby sniffed the air, trying to catch a familiar scent. The jasmine from Lily's garden. If he could just find that scent, he might be able to find his way home. He slipped back through the gap in the fence and began to retrace his steps, his nose low to the ground, searching for any hint of the way back. As he rounded a corner, he heard a voice, a familiar, worried voice calling out his name. Toby! Toby! His ears perked up and his heart leaped. It was Lily. She was looking for him. He barked as loudly as he could, and he heard her voice again, closer this time. Toby! Where are you? He barked again, running toward the sound, his little paws pounding against the pavement, and then there she was, standing at the corner, her face filled with worry. The moment she saw him, her expression changed to one of pure relief. Toby! She cried, running toward him. She scooped him up in her arms, holding him tight against her chest. Oh, Toby, I was so worried. Don't ever run away like that again. Toby licked her face, his tail wagging furiously. He buried his nose in her neck, feeling the warmth of her skin and the steady beat of her heart. He had been so scared, more scared than he had ever been, but now he was back where he belonged, in Lily's arms, safe and sound. Lily hugged him close, her voice soft and soothing. You scared me, little guy, she whispered, but I'm glad you're okay. Let's get you home. As Lily walked with Toby, cradled in her arms, his small body pressed against her chest, they made their way back to the house. Toby glanced over Lily's shoulder, his wide eyes scanning the street behind them. The world outside still bustled with people going about their day, and the air filled with the sound of laughter, chatter, and the hum of distant cars. But in the back of Toby's mind, he couldn't shake the lingering fear of what lay beyond the safety of Lily's arms, the big mean dog he had narrowly escaped from earlier. Just as he reached the corner near their house, Toby's ears pricked up. A low, familiar growl rumbled from behind them. His body tensed, a chill running down his spine. He twisted his head around and saw it. The same large, snarling dog that had chased him before, emerging from behind a parked car. Its eyes were locked onto him, its lips curled back to reveal sharp, yellowed teeth. Toby felt a jolt of fear run through him, his heart pounding so hard he thought he might burst out of his chest. Lily froze mid-step, sensing Toby's sudden distress. She followed his gaze and gasped, seeing the menacing dog approaching. The big dog's growl deepened, and it started to advance, its eyes dark and intent on its target, on them. Toby, it's okay, Lily whispered, trying to sound calm, but Toby could hear the quiver in her voice. She tightened her grip around him, and he could feel her heart racing against his tiny body. The dog's growl grew louder, more threatening, and it took another step forward, its gaze now fixed on Lily. Toby felt a surge of anger rise up inside him, an instinct he didn't know he had. This time, it wasn't just about him. This time, it was about Lily, the girl who had saved him, the one who had given him a name, a home, and a place in her heart. Without warning, the big dog lunged forward, barking fiercely, saliva flying from its mouth. Lily stumbled back, her eyes wide with fear. Toby felt a fierce, protective instinct flood through him. In that split second, something in him changed. He wasn't a small, scared puppy anymore. In his mind, he was 3 times his size. Strong, brave, and ready to defend the one person who had shown him kindness. Toby wriggled free from Lily's arms and leapt to the ground, placing himself between her and the approaching dog. He planted his paws firmly on the pavement, his tiny body standing tall and defiant. A growl erupted from his throat, low and deep, surprising even himself. His fur bristled and his teeth bared in a snarl. The big dog hesitated, momentarily thrown off by this unexpected challenge from a much smaller dog, but then it shook its head and growled back, louder this time, advancing once more. Toby didn't back down. He lunged forward, barking with all his might, the sound much louder and fiercer than his small size would suggest. The big dog snapped its jaws, trying to intimidate him, but Toby stood his ground. He darted forward, his teeth flashing in the sunlight, and sank them into the large dog's leg. The bigger dog let out a sharp yelp of surprise and pain. Toby held on tight, feeling the strength in his jaw, the determination in his heart. The big dog shook its leg, trying to dislodge Toby, but Toby's grip was firm, his small body trembling with adrenaline and resolve. He could hear Lily shouting his name, but he didn't dare let go. This was his moment, his chance to prove that he wasn't afraid, that he could be brave. The bigger dog whimpered, feeling the sharp sting of Toby's bite, and for a moment, its aggression faltered. Its eyes widened in surprise, and it stumbled back, trying to escape the unexpected pain. Toby felt a rush of triumph, his confidence soaring. He growled again, louder this time, releasing the big dog's leg, but not backing down. He snapped his teeth in warning, his eyes fierce and unwavering. The big dog, now thoroughly startled and in pain, whimpered again, its tail tucking between its legs. With a final glance at Toby, it turned and bolted, running off down the street, its yelps echoing behind it. Toby stood there for a moment, panting hard, his chest heaving with every breath. He couldn't believe what he had just done, but the thrill of it surged through him. He had faced his fear. He had protected Lily. Lily rushed over, kneeling down beside him, her eyes wide with shock and amazement. "Toby, you did it," she exclaimed, her voice a mix of disbelief and pride. She scooped him up, hugging him tightly against her chest. "You're so brave, Toby, so brave." Toby felt her warmth, her heart still racing just like his. He leaned into her embrace, a deep sense of accomplishment filling him. For the first time, he felt truly strong, like he could face anything, as long as Lily was by his side. And in that moment, he knew that he would always protect her no matter what. When they finally reached the little yellow house, Lily set Toby down on the porch and disappeared inside. A few moments later, she returned, holding something in her hands. Toby tilted his head, curious. "Here," Lily said with a smile, kneeling down beside him. "I got this for you. It's a special gift." She held up a small red collar with a shiny tag dangling from it. Toby's eyes widened, and he sniffed at it, his tail wagging slowly. Lily gently slipped the collar around his neck and fastened it. "There you go," she said, rubbing his ears. "Now everybody will know your name. Look." She turned the tag around and Toby saw it. It had his name engraved on it. Toby. Toby felt a swell of pride and happiness. His very own collar. He barked in excitement, licking Lily's face again. Lily laughed, hugging him tightly. "Now you're officially my Toby," she whispered, "and I promise to keep you safe. Always." Toby looked up at her with shining eyes. He felt the weight of the collar around his neck, a symbol of his new life, his new name, and his new family. He was no longer just a stray. He was Lily's Toby. He followed her back inside the house, his heart filled with a mix of relief and joy. The world outside might be big and scary, but with Lily by his side, he knew he could face anything. He had a home, a name, and a friend who loved him more than anything. And that, Toby realized, was all he would ever need. And that's the end of chapter 3. Thank you guys for continuing to go on this journey with me. I really thoroughly enjoy reading this to you. But as I always say, if you have something that you want read, if you want to get your voice out there, please submit it. You have a voice. You'll have a place to put your heart and soul out there, whether it's a novel, a short story, a poem, anything that you want, read out loud or critiqued, please submit it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your comments will help future generations of writers who are maybe dealing with the same issues that you found in my reading of this chapter. So always remember, it's not just for me, it's for those in the audience who really do appreciate and do benefit from the critiques that you put out there. So As always, if you have something that you want read, I'll read that. And again, thank you all again.